Hello, I'm Tiffany Rayside, and I will be providing an overview of what the project management planning principle is and what it entails. A project plan is a formal, approved document that is used to manage and control a project. It forms the basis for all management efforts associated with the project and is expected to change over time as information evolves throughout the various project stages. The project manager creates the plan based on input from the project team members and key stakeholders with the objective of defining the necessary approach to deliver the intended scope of the project. The project plan defines the project activities and end products that will be performed, and it describes how the activities will be accomplished. The purpose of project planning is to define each major task, estimate the time and resources required, and provide a framework for management review and control. Project planning requires the expression of four fundamentals. The first, specific work to be performed and goals that define and bind the project. Second, estimates for planning, tracking, and controlling the project. Third, commitments that are planned, documented, and agreed upon by affected groups. And fourth, project alternatives, assumptions, and constraints. Furthermore, the planning process includes steps to estimate the size of the project, estimate the technical scope of the effort, estimate the resources required to complete the project, produce a schedule, identify and assess risks, and negotiate commitments. It is good practice to have a formally agreed upon and version-controlled plan approved in the early stages of the project and applied through completion. Project planning is the part of project management that employs the use of schedules, such as Gantt charts, to plan and subsequently report progress within the project environment.
Hello, I'm Shannon Zinzer, and I will be going over how project management planning works. The planning principle of project management allows the stakeholders of the project to gather together all of the processes and requirements that would be needed to successfully complete the project on time, within cost, and to a high quality standard. When the planning principle is successfully performed, the project manager will have produced numerous management plan documents that lay out the plans for how a project will be executed. These documents may include some or all of those listed on this slide, and they may have to be updated as the project progresses forward as situations or requirements change. The first document I will go over is the team contract. This document is an agreement between all the team members involved in the project. It displays how the project team will communicate, their code of conduct, how they will solve problems when they occur, how and when they will meet, and how each member will participate in the project. The next document is the project charter. This document contains a summary of the project and how it can be successful. It formally announces the project is getting started and includes information for all the categories listed. The project scope statement is like the plans for the project. It gives more information about the project, such as why the project is being implemented, what the project's requirements are, and what type of things will make up the project. Also, what will be delivered as part of the project and what will determine the project's success. The work breakdown structure shows how the project is going to be broken down for completion and is organized around project products, project phases, or project management process groups. The WBS can be displayed in a chart form or a tabular form. Displayed here is a chart organized by project phase with what the same project phases would look like in tabular form. The tabular form is beneficial for use when developing the project schedule, especially if the project manager is using project manager software such as Microsoft Project. The project schedule is an extension of the WBS. It can be created using a Gantt chart as shown here, which is created in a program such as Microsoft Project. It displays the sequencing of the project, the estimated time it would take to acquire resources, and the estimated time it would take to complete each aspect of the project that was laid out in the WBS. Projects will have risks associated with them. The key to combating these risks is to try to identify them early in the project so they won't be as much of a surprise when or if they do happen. In order to realize if something is a risk register should be created. This register should contain all the categories displayed. Categories could be something like technology if the risk identified was something like a computer crashing, which would prevent certain work from being done. Triggers of the risk are the symptoms of the risk, such as black screen. Risk owner would be the person responsible for combating the risk, such as the project manager. Probability of a risk occurring and what impact the risk would have on the project is important to display. What is the status of the risk is also something important to be answered. For easy, quick reference, a probability matrix should also be created. This will display how bad the risks are based on the probability of them happening and the impact they have on the project. The cost management plan lays out the requirements for reporting and handling the costs for the project. Listed here are some of the requirements that should be covered in the management plan, such as whether costs need to be rounded, whether labor hours or days should be used, and how and when cost reports should be reported. This concludes the How Planning Works portion of the presentation. I will now pass it over to my teammate Daniel.
Thank you, Shannon. Hi, my name is Dan, and in this portion of the project, I would like to discuss who uses planning. I'm sure we have all been caught off guard in life and had to react to situations or scenarios quickly without much time to prepare or think how to address particular situations. When it comes to working on a project, this is usually not the best method. Planning is such an important part of project management. It should be used by everyone involved in the project because a good plan should cover all aspects of a project from start to finish. I think the most critical part of planning is going to come from the project team, the people that will be involved with carrying out the day-to-day operations, involved with executing the plan, although others will be involved in some aspects of the plan. For example, you might want to include in the plan a report that should be reviewed weekly by critical stakeholders. This could be something that the stakeholder requests be built into the plan. When it comes down to coordinating hardware requirements, software requirements, hours to complete the project, and so on, it should really come from the experts who have been given the task of completing the project and should be coordinated closely with the project manager. The project manager will have the toughest time in this critical phase of project management. Since this is typically the most difficult of phases, it is important to break down the project into logical aspects such as scope, cost, risk, quality, time. This can be defined by a work breakdown structure. The project manager will then create an activity diagram after determining the dependencies and figure out the critical path the project must take. Once the project manager has met with all the stakeholders and the project team members, they would be able to put together these pieces in order to orchestrate an appropriate plan. Stakeholders will also have a significant part of the planning process as the project will somehow directly affect them in some way, shape, or form. Two examples of stakeholders would be the project manager and the project team, which we've already discussed in the earlier slides. Other stakeholders who will be invested in this project could be someone as important as the CEO, who just wants to be kept informed, to the customers who want to be kept satisfied, to the staff that can be directly affected by the outcome of this project and would prefer just to monitor its status. The list could be extensive, and it is important that all stakeholders are involved in the plan.
Hello, I'm Javon Wilson. I will discuss some of the issues with the planning phase. When there is a lack of information or details concerning a project, it will make it very difficult to plan out an entire project. Not being able to account for every single aspect of your project can be the difference between project failure and project success. Another important issue with the planning phase is that conditions may change during a project and it can be hard to account for every single problem or issue that may occur. Managers and team members need to be very flexible to be able to work through a project. During the planning stages, issues can arise if the team leader does not properly assess all the information about a project. Managers need to be prepared for all possible scenarios, good or bad, during the project. Conditions can change, and if not properly prepared for them, it will create confusion, and employees will ultimately lose sight of what the goal of the project is. Historically, projects done without any planning will either not be completed, spend a lot more time than normally projected, or run the risk of being finished and the work not being properly done. Planning a project out may increase the workload in the beginning, but will only aid in the rate of completion in the end. Some benefits are better communication between group members and team leaders, increased transparency of the things such as deadlines and milestones, better organization with employees not having to ask what they are needed to do because they will already have agendas set, and knowing exactly what you're working towards will make the goal of the project very clear.
Hello, my name is Vanna, and I will discuss projections about project management planning in its future. Technology advances by the minute. With that, project management planning evolves with the progressions of technology. The future of project management planning consists of new cloud-based project management planning software and tools along with the reorganization of project management offices to enterprise project management offices. Thanks to the improvement of technology, project management planning has already gone to the cloud. This lets project managers track the life cycle of a project from anywhere and at any point. This also allows the project manager to communicate more effectively with project stakeholders and team members. A 2015 blog found here from Microsoft Office lists the many benefits of cloud-based project management tools. Another forecasted change is the need for project management teams and offices to transition from traditional project teams to enterprise project management offices. This allows project managers to focus on the entire enterprise's goals rather than traditional department goals. Having project managers focus on the enterprise goals ensures that planned projects support the entire business strategy. With limited internal and external resources and budget constraints, it is important that planned projects align with the organization's business strategy and business goals.